In this video I'm going to be showing you how to perform multiple file uploads with PHP. And we're going to look at two different methods of doing this. The first one is going to be, as you can see now, we've got two input fields, we've got two file inputs. So we can choose a file, select a file from our computer, and then we can upload it through the site. The other method we're going to look at is the method in which you can click choose a file, and we'll just have one of these, and you can drag and select multiple files. So let's say you were allowing your user to upload, say, up to 10 files. You would only have to have one choose file button, and they'd be able to drag and highlight up to 10 files, for example. But we'll look at the first method first, establish the overall concept that we use to upload multiple files, and then we'll go ahead and input that as well. The reason we're covering both is because the latter option that I'm going to be teaching isn't compatible with Internet Explorer at the time of recording, so you might run into some compatibility issues if you're asking your users to upload multiple files. They may not be able to if they're using IE, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this works and that it does work, and then we'll go ahead and look at the code. At the moment I have an index file which we are currently viewing. I've got a file called uploads, a folder called uploads, sorry, with currently nothing in it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and choose two files. So I've got these two images here. I'm going to click on this, that's the first one selected, and I'm going to click on this, which is the second one selected. Go ahead and click upload. We've got no confirmation or anything like that because we want to keep the tutorial as short as possible, so I haven't included any sort of file extension checking. But you'll now see that within this uploads folder we've got these two files. These have literally just been uploaded. So we know that it works. Let's go ahead and delete them. We're going to look at the code. We'll go ahead and look at how we can actually do this now. So let's hop over to a blank text editor and start writing this out. Okay, so over to our blank text editor, we can actually start to write this code out now. Now, it's important to bear in mind that I'm not going to be including any security checks here. So we are allowing any file type to be uploaded. We're not checking the type of the file, we're not checking the size of the file, we're not even giving a confirmation message. This is just to keep the tutorial as short as possible, so we can, I can demonstrate the contents of the array when we upload files, things like that. It'll be a waste of time to do that. We have tutorials on that, so go ahead and follow the secure file upload tutorial if you haven't already. It's very important. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create PHP tags, and underneath I'm going to create the form. So this is basically an HTML form. We have a few attributes that we need to give the form here. We've got an action, which is where this is being posted to. I'm going to leave it blank. That will just automatically post it to the same page that we're on, so it's self-submitting. We're going to have a method, and this is either get or post, and it's going to be post in this case. We need to send large amounts of data. And we also, not optionally, for files, we have an enc type. So we have multi-part form data, okay, and that allows us to send this file data. Okay, so now we need a file type. So the input here has a type of file that just allows us to click and select file. It just gives that option in the browser, and we need to give this a name as well. Now traditionally what we'd do is we would say just say uploads or something like that, or upload, or file even, and you'd give it a name. In this case, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be uploading multiple files. So you may think, well, we could say upload 1 and then duplicate this to upload 2. However, this it's going to be hard because we're going to have to loop through these and select data from specific parts of the files array when we submit this. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to include some square brackets on the end. Now basically what this is going to mean is when we duplicate this down, the files that we upload, even though they're in separate form fields or input fields, they all then belong to this array because this signifies an array. So we're going to be uploading two files. The last input is a submit, and I'll just give this a value of upload. And yeah, I mean that's it. We just have two file types and an upload button. So in our browser, let's go ahead and refresh. And you can see we've got choose file, we can choose a file, choose file, we can choose a file, and an upload button here. So now that we've done the markup, that's fine. That will submit to this page, and then we can start processing it up here. So let's go ahead and start to write some PHP. The first thing I'm going to do is check whether the form has been submitted and this files array exists. So I'm going to say if is set $_files, so we're accessing this files array that's been posted, and we've called this upload. So this signifies this here. Okay, so if this is equal to true, that means that the form has been submitted and these files have been submitted. So I'm going to create a variable in here called files, and I'm going to set this to this files upload here. Now the reason I'm doing this is we may need to use this somewhere down the line, so it just means we don't have to repeat this over and over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and echo files. Now it's not going to echo the contents of it, but we'll see the data type, so we'll know that this is an array. So let's go ahead and just choose two files and upload these. Okay, so it says array, so we know this is an array now. So now we can start to filter this down and see what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and print R, which is going to show us the contents of this array. So print R on files is going to show us the contents. We can just go ahead and click reload and resubmit this data. And now you'll see we've got this array contents here. Now it's really hard to see, so we need to figure out a better way to sort of display this on the page. So a better way to do this is to combine this with pre-formatted tags, and then just pass through true here. And what that's going to do is it will show it nicely like this. It will show it as it should be. Okay, so let's examine this and see what we've got here. Now it's obvious, you know, as you look at it, that we've got back to top.png, beginner.png. These are the two files that we've uploaded. This corresponds to this because we've got an array here with 0, which corresponds to 0 corresponds to the same thing for each of these. So we've got a name of the file, which is the file name, a type, which we don't really need in file processing too much, but that's something to talk about in the secure file upload tutorial, a temporary name, which is where this file has been temporarily stored on our server before we move it, error, whether there's been an error, in this case there hasn't, and the size of the file as well. So we're just going to be focusing on name and TMP name, so we can move this and actually upload the file to this uploads folder that we've got. Okay, so now that we've seen the contents of the array, we have seen, you know, how this looks. So we need to now figure out how we can loop through this and upload each of the files in turn. So in the next part, we're going to be looking at actually looping through, figuring out how we can grab this, and this, each loop, and then process that file, and then do the same for the second one as well. And it is relatively straightforward, so I'll see you in part 2 for that.